if I have to recommend just 5 perfumes for women from French Avenue, then this will be it. These are 5 best of the best French Avenue perfumes for women when it comes to just quality and performance. If you watch my channel, you know that I review a lot of Middle Eastern perfumes. I'm actually making top 5 for each popular Middle Eastern perfume brands. And yeah, today is all about French Avenue. So starting off with the fragrance that I think is perfect to use all year round. Jasmere has just been released this year. And if you watch my channel, you know that I adore this fragrance. Basically, this smells like honeyed, soft florals with a soapy base. This is a spot-on dupe of Marc-Antoine Barrois Tilia, and I think they really nailed it, as not only they smell identical, but the performance as well, quite the same. Jasmere is for anyone who's looking for a clean smelling, soft, floral, soapy scent to use on a daily basis. Because of that soapy background, I think Jasmere is very likable, even if you are not into florals, because I think the honeyed florals are very well balanced with that soapy, musky base. I'm gonna categorize this fragrance as more of like a floral, soapy, musky scent. Perfect for everyday use. It is unisex, however, because of its floral facet, I think it is leaning more feminine. I find it as well more feminine leaning than Tilia, because I find Jasmere as well to be a little bit sweeter. The honey in here, I think, is more pronounced. However, don't be scared that it will be too thick. It's just like sweet, and you can easily detect that it is like honey, because it smells like a literal honeyed, soft florals, mainly jasmine, with an underlying tea and soapy nuance. Such an amazing everyday slash signature scent. Highly recommended if you're looking for an affordable, everyday, likable, wearable scent from the Middle Eastern market. Once again, Jasmere, and I find this fragrance to be unisex. Next up is a fragrance that I think is included in my last year's top 5 from French Avenue, if I remember it correctly. And if you watch my channel, you know that Axis is one of my favorites as well from the brand. Basically, this smells like a dark, plummy, woody vanilla scent that I find very sensual and super sexy. The opening is very earthy and plummy. I could really get the dark plum straight away, along with something very woody, yeah, and earthy. As Axis dries down, the more it becomes woodier. So I highly recommend Axis to women who are into woody fragrance, because if you're not, then you might find Axis to be very masculine leaning. However, if you are like me and you enjoy woody fragrances, this will be a massive hit for you. It also has that prominent vanilla, so I'm gonna categorize this fragrance as more of like a dark and sensual unisex woody vanilla scent that smells like fall. It literally smells like dark plum and woods. And if that sounds appealing to you, highly recommend you checking out Axis. This perfume is also very similar to Byredo's Vanille Antique. So if you are looking for an affordable version of that, highly recommend you checking it out. I find this perfume as well very underrated from the brand. Performance wise, it is amazing. It lasts on me around 6 to 8 hours, and it lingers even longer on clothes. Once again, Axis, and I find this fragrance to be unisex. Next up is another woody ambery scent. Actually, almost all of these fragrances are mostly wintry amber woody scents. As I noticed, French Avenue uses very good quality woody amber notes. Like, I could really tell wherever they're buying their woody and amber oils is really of high quality. Anyway, guys, next fragrance is Amber Empire. The first time that I've tried this fragrance, my eyes really rolled back, as I find it to be like that sensual and addictive. Basically, this is a rich and sweet, boozy amber and vanilla combo of my dreams. This is one of my favorite winter scents on my husband. Actually, I featured it here because I also wear this scent. Even though it is leaning more masculine, I will wear it as I love wearing unisex fragrances. Anyway, guys, if you love oriental amber and boozy scents, then I highly, highly recommend you checking out Amber Empire. This is a very close dupe of Clive Christian's Blonde Amber, and I have smelled them actually side by side. They are very, very similar, especially now that Amber Empire has matured. If you are looking for a dark, sensual amber vanilla combo that is also slightly boozy and spicy, then I highly recommend you checking out Amber Empire. This perfume definitely smells more expensive than what it is. Actually, all of the perfume that I'm talking about today smells luxurious. Like, I wouldn't tell that they cost less than $100. Yeah, that's why I highly recommend you checking out all of these top 5 fragrances from each Middle Eastern perfume brands that I am doing in my channel, as they are really like the best from the Middle Eastern market right now. Anyway, going back to Amber Empire, performance is outstanding. It lasts more than 8 hours. It has very strong projection for the first 2 hours until it becomes moderate. It stays eternally on clothes. I actually asked my husband to wear Amber Empire from time to time during winter time, as I really enjoy smelling it on him. And yeah, I highly, highly recommend it. Once again, Amber Empire, I find this fragrance to be unisex and leaning more masculine. Highly recommend it if the sound of a rich, sweet amber and spicy, creamy vanilla sounds appealing to you. Next up is a limited edition. However, I think you can still find this in some online shops, and this is Liquid Brun, yeah, limited edition. Now, after receiving this fragrance, I actually gave away the OG Liquid Brun, as I enjoy this more. I find Liquid Brun to be more refined and smoother version, as I find that fragrance to be like quite disturbing to my nostrils. It has that super synthetic musk that I'm not really a fan of, and the limited edition doesn't have that synthetic musk. Liquid Barn is all about vanilla and sweet orange blossom. Also, I find this fragrance to be sweeter than the OG, to the point that I find it more feminine leaning. That's why I prefer it more. Performance wise, this is eternal. So if the OG is beast mode, Liquid Brun limited edition is like even more potent. I love how fizzy it opens up. It kind of reminds me of a root beer with added orange blossom and sweet vanilla. Liquid Brun is one of French Avenue's bestseller for a reason. However, in my opinion, the limited edition is better. So if you can get your hands on this fragrance, I recommend it more than the OG, especially for women, because this is definitely more feminine leaning, in my opinion. Once again, Liquid Brun, if the sound of root beer, sweet orange blossom, and vanilla combo sounds appealing to you, this fragrance is eternal. Highly recommended, especially for those who only wears beast mode fragrances. All right, and last but not the least is Royal Blend Sequoia. Now, this is another fall and winter scent. As mentioned, I find the amber woody scent profile from French Avenue to be fantastic and of high quality, and Royal Blend Sequoia is one of them. This is another rich and sweet boozy scent. It has the same vibe as Amber Empire. However, with Royal Blend Sequoia, I find it to be more concentrated on the boozy side. So having said that, cognac, liquor, but make it sweet and a little bit fruitier. And what I mean by fruitier is that I find the raspberry here to be quite prominent. So imagine like a sweet raspberry soaked in a cognac. It also has that strong mossy nuance in the background, and the final dry down of it is very woody. So I'm gonna categorize this fragrance as a rich, sweet, boozy, woody scent. I find it very sexy and sensual as well. Perfect for fall and winter season. If you enjoy boozy scents, then you definitely have to check out Royal Blend Sequoia. Now, this is a very close dupe of Kilian's Angel Share Paradis. And let me tell you that they are very, very similar, to the point that, yes, I recommend Royal Blend Sequoia as a dupe of Angel Share Paradis. I have tried several dupes of Angel Share Paradis, and in my humble opinion, Royal Blend Sequoia is the best. Performance wise, it lasts as well for a very long time. On me, it lasts around 5 to 8 hours, and it stays even longer on clothes. Very sexy and sensual, sweet, boozy raspberry scent that I highly recommend if you are looking for something expensive smelling boozy scent from the Middle Eastern market. Once again, Royal Blend Sequoia, and I find this fragrance to be unisex. So that is the video for today, guys. Those are my top 5 perfume recommendations from French Avenue. If you are curious about my top 5 recommendations from these brands, then I'm gonna pop them up in here. Also, I wanna know if you have a brand in mind that I haven't done my top 5 yet. Let me know in the comments down below. Once again, thank you all so much for watching, guys, and see you on my next one. Bye!